Russian missile strikes against Ukrainian energy infrastructure since March 2024 have likely caused long-term damage to Ukrainian energy infrastructure and repeated energy blackouts. Ukraine's largest private energy operator, DTEK, reported energy blackouts in Kyiv City and Oblast on May 14 and stated that blackouts occur without warning. Ukrainian energy company Yasno stated that Russian strikes cause Ukrainian energy operators to conduct emergency blackouts in order to balance the power system. Long-term damage to Ukraine's energy grid generates persisting energy disruptions that threaten to constrain Ukrainian efforts to expand its defense industrial base. A Russian insider source claimed that senior Russian Ministry of Defense officials are vying for the position of Chief of the General Staff. The insider source claimed on May 14 that unspecified Russian deputy defense ministers and heads of unspecified main directorates in the Russian MOD are likely competing to become the new Chief of the General Staff. The source also claimed that there are three main centers of power within the Russian MOD, consisting of various deputy defense ministers and generals. The situation indicates potential high-level power struggles within the Russian military command structure. Russian President Vladimir Putin likely views his relationship with the People's Republic of China as crucial to mobilizing the Russian economy and defense industry for a protracted war in Ukraine. Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping signed several bilateral agreements on May 16th, including trade, agricultural, and media agreements. The Economist reported that Russia's defense industry increasingly relies on China for dual-use goods like semiconductors and navigation equipment. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken noted that Chinese exports have significantly boosted Russia's defense production. This partnership indicates deeper economic ties between Russia and China amid ongoing Western sanctions. Ukrainian officials reported that Ukrainian forces are stabilizing the situation along the northern border in Kharkiv Oblast, and that the tempo of Russian offensive operations in the area continues to decrease. Ukrainian General Staff noted that Ukrainian forces have so far denied Russia's tactical objectives to penetrate Ukrainian defenses within Vovchansk and establish a foothold in the area. President Zelensky stated that Ukrainian forces cannot afford to lose Kharkiv City and requested 2 Patriot air defense systems to deploy to the area. Russian fixed-wing aircraft have recently targeted Kharkiv City with glide bombs and missile strikes to degrade Ukrainian defenses. Ukrainian Internal Affairs Minister Ihor Klimenko reported that Russian forces have executed civilians and taken civilians captive in Vovchansk. Klimenko stated on May 16 that Russian forces are preventing residents from evacuating and are holding civilians captive in basements. He reported instances of Russian forces executing civilians, including one instance where a civilian was killed for refusing to follow orders. The United Nations documented at least 142 cases of Russian forces executing Ukrainian civilians by December 2023. These acts are emblematic of Russian forces' behavior in all occupied Ukrainian territories, highlighting ongoing human rights violations and war crimes by Russian troops. Putin also used his meeting with Xi to promote known Kremlin narratives feigning interest in peace negotiations and a diplomatic resolution to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Putin and Xi signed a joint statement on May 16 that alluded to Russia's support for China's proposed peace plan and a potential Chinese-led negotiation to end the war in Ukraine. The statement claimed that both Russia and China oppose efforts to prolong or escalate the war and support a sustainable settlement for the crisis. Analysts suggest that these moves aim to weaken Western support for Ukraine and prompt concessions on Ukrainian sovereignty. Russian forces are reportedly able to conduct fixed-wing drone reconnaissance deep in the Ukrainian rear due to Ukraine's lack of air defense interceptors. The Royal United Services Institute reported on May 14 that Ukraine's diminishing supply of surface-to-air missiles has allowed Russian reconnaissance drones to fly more freely in Ukrainian rear areas. This situation has forced Ukraine to make difficult decisions about air defense coverage. Ukrainian forces require Western-supplied air defense interceptors to destroy Russian reconnaissance drones and counter the optimized Russian reconnaissance fire complex. This capability enables Russian forces to advance tactically on both rear and frontline areas.